Not a lot of games have taken off as quickly as Blizzard's new juggernaut, Overwatch. Only out for 2 months, it's already had itself 10 million players and made literally hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Everyone, and I mean everyone, seems to love Overwatch. They love its characters, its variety, its lore. When talking about class-based team shooters, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better one. Or would you? And no, we're not talking about Battleborn. Go home, Battleborn. You're drunk. No, I'm talking about the hat-tastic granddaddy of the genre, Team Fortress 2. So can Overwatch overthrow this historic giant that is TF2? Or will enthusiasm for Overwatch be dead faster than Evolve? Yeah, there's a game you haven't thought about in a while. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to Deadlock. Nerf this.
Kaboom indeed, you drunken wretch!
Well, it's only polite to respect our elders, so Team Fortress 2, you go first.
Oh wow, so gracious. Hopefully with this abundance of respect you apparently have, you can respect that I'm about to win this debate in one word. Free. Team Fortress 2 is a free game with no hidden fees. The complete version of Overwatch is $60. Boom! Done. Shut it down. It's over. But in the interest of adding on some additional hurt, consider that Overwatch has microtransactions on top of the $60 fee. And people say that Candy Crush is a bad time. At least that game is free to download.
Okay, sure. Overwatch is being sold as a complete game at full price, but that's because it is. Blizzard has said that players will get everything from here on out, including new maps and other updates, all for free.
Oh, wow! Updates? Oh, wait a minute. Team Fortress 2 updates multiple times a year with free content on top of the game being free. And it's been doing this for 9 years. The game was released in October of 2007. That is a lot of service for zero money down.
Upfront fees, upfront fees. I see you dancing around the subject. TF2 has microtransactions as well.
Yeah, for hats, for new weapons, for general character customization. In TF2, you pay for what you want, and you get what you want when you pay for it. In Overwatch, the microtransactions give you a chance to maybe get what you want. It's all a lottery. Sure, every time you buy a loot box, that's a chance to get that skin that you wanted just so badly. You've been waiting for it since day one, but there's a pretty good chance you're gonna get one of those sprays you've already gotten 3 times before. And let's face it, even if you did play the Overwatch loot box game to hopefully get those unique items for your favorite character, the extent to which you can customize them is painfully thin. TF2 has years of hats, weapons, skins, user-generated models. If you want to play as a scout, wearing a Dovahkiin helmet, wielding a giant fish as a weapon, you can. And that? It's not even anywhere near the craziest combination available in the game. From aesthetic changes to fully customizable loadouts, TF2 allows complete control over your character's play and feel without ever tipping into the realm of pay to win. It would appear as though I am on fire.
Oh my gosh, you were right. I shouldn't have let you talk first because you chose to fixate on the one, and I mean one element where Overwatch loses out to TF2, and that is aesthetics. So a tip of the cap to you, Demo Man, for your great variety of virtual overpriced caps. But Overwatch wins where it truly matters, and that is gameplay.
Tell that to the loyal gamers who've been playing TF2 for the past 9 years. The game has stood the test of time.
Stood? Sure, but is now getting replaced. TF2 player numbers have been on the decline since October of 2014, according to Steam Charts data. And numbers since Overwatch's release in May have reached an all-time low for the game. So it looks like all those loyal gamers might be jumping ship. And honestly, who can blame them? Overwatch is a true team-based shooter, where teams need to be made of a diverse set of heroes and actually work together to succeed in the game. The end goal is always completing your objective, be it moving a vehicle across the map or defending a certain position. Team Fortress is also objective-based, but features things like kill-death ratios and rewards for dominating the enemy, stats and achievements that are directly tied to killing the opponent repeatedly. This makes it much less appealing to play as, say, a healer or other support character, since they're not as likely to get impressive numbers in those areas. And likewise, it increases the likelihood that offensive players will go rogue, heading out onto the map solo to boost these things up for themselves. The developers of Overwatch have gone on record saying that they actively avoided including stats like that in the game for exactly that reason, to make the team element the focus. In other words, in an ironic twist, Overwatch does Team Fortress better than Team Fortress.
Yeah, I would hope so, considering it's the same game nearly a decade later. Only with fewer maps, of course. TF2 has 100. How many does Overwatch have again?
12, but...
You can call me Torbjorn, because I'm just standing here, and I just got play the game.
12 maps, again in 2 months after release as opposed to 9 years, but it's quality over quantity. Whereas you brag about having 100 maps, most of which are from the community, mind you, which is not a bad thing, but Overwatch's characters are just more mobile. They can roll, they can fly, teleport, use grappling hooks. With apologies to Freddie Wong, there's no need for convoluted rocket jumping in Overwatch. And the great thing is that this increased mobility means Overwatch's characters are much better equipped to use more of the levels, explore the verticality of those levels, and try out different strategies that TF2's more limited characters just don't have open to them.
You know what isn't open in Overwatch? Community servers. And that means that the community won't be as active within the game, which is a total bummer. Unlike in TF2, overhypers, Overwatchers won't be creating their own unique modes, skins, hosting their own events on their own servers. They can't do any of that stuff, and we know just how much the community has done for TF2 over all these years. This game was a meme machine. You think you could beat that? Nope.
Again, it may be coming, and I wouldn't doubt the strength of the Overwatch community either, my friend. Cosplayers are out in force already. Blizzard is actively policing porn of these characters that's been popping up online. Not that I would know from any sort of personal experience.
Oh yeah, Matt, don't worry about it. We're not gonna check your search history or anything like that.
I read about it. Swear.
By the way, most of that stuff, made in Source Filmmaker. But don't try to distract me with titillating tidbits. Before we get away from the whole map issue, let's say you don't like a certain map, one of the 12 that there are. If that map comes up in matchmaking, you're stuck playing it. Outside of leaving it or convincing your whole team to try and exit with you, you're gonna have to play it twice in fact. Team Fortress 2, on the other hand, uses a server system on the PC. These servers are hosting specific maps and modes, or rotations of maps and modes, and players can join whichever ones that they want. That way, they can find any set of servers that they really enjoy, stick around for as long as they'd like, and move to a different server whenever they feel like doing something else. On top of that, TF2 just has more modes to pick from. That includes Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and a PvE Horde mode in Man vs. Machine. With this server system, there's just more on offer for a more robust game. With customization, there are tons of different ways to play.
I get it, that's your big argument. But here's the thing. Though you can't customize loadouts just yet, Overwatch's emphasis on characters countering other characters means that it's gonna stay fun for a whole lot longer. Because the core mechanic of the game is getting good with multiple characters and switching when the situation demands it. Need to stop some turret fire? Well, just call in Winston. Want to get vertical for a while? Call in Pharah. And even within a particular class, there's a lot of variety. Just look at the differences between Mercy and Lucio. Both are healers, but do the job in different ways. If you want hardcore focused healing, then you clearly go with Mercy. If you want less healing output, but you want to get as many people as quickly as possible, well, that's when you hit up Lucio. Are Overwatch's heroes a bit more rigid in their playstyles? Admittedly, yes they are. But there are currently 22 characters in Overwatch, with more on the way compared to your 9. And the constant need to hop between them more than makes up for the the fewer game modes and less flexible characters. And it's also important to note that none of them are a clone. We don't have any Links, Young Links, and Toon Links here, ladies and gentlemen. Each and every character feels unique. You want to play as a female Russian bodybuilder? Well, guess what? You can. You want to play as a Japanese cyborg ninja? Well, guess what? You can. Plus, in a time when gamers are more accepting than ever to play different characters, Overwatch embraces diversity. While the characters in TF2 may be from all across the world, outside of the Demo Man and maybe the Pyro, they're all white males. Overwatch, though, literally has a grandmother who snipes medicine into your body. That is equal opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. And lastly, let's face it, but ult moves are a ton of fun.
Sure, but as fun as it may be to wreck shop with Reaper's Death Blossom, there's always gonna be a Widowmaker with Infrasight or someone else ready to counter it. More characters, more abilities means more opportunities to mess up the balance. And you see it already with tiering lists in competitive play. Tanks are just too OP right now. Reinhardt, Zarya, D.Va, Roadhog, all four of these tanks, all four dominating the top two tiers in competitive play. I mean, how often have you started a game, gone up against the opposing team and seen that they have 3 Roadhogs? What else do you do other than sigh, groan, and face roll the keyboard? It's not fun. TF2's modest roster of 9 might not be hundreds deep like other popular franchises such as League of Legends, but it's a finely honed stable of characters which offer a fair, consistent gameplay experience.
You say TF2 is more balanced, and yet Overwatch's smaller team size per match allows for more strategically constructed teams compared to the massive battles of TF2. With too many players on the field, it just becomes bedlam. But with Overwatch's team sitting at 6v6, it makes each player's character choice matter. And speaking of skill, the need to master not just one character, but multiple characters in order to be successful in this game means that it has a higher potential skill ceiling for the hardest of hardcore players. And let's not forget as well, Overwatch simply looks and runs better. Team Fortress is a decade old, which makes it really hard to compete.
You say old, I say tried and true. Team Fortress 2 was built on Valve's Source engine, reliable and flexible, and its cartoonish graphical style has ensured that its look has aged very well, at least when compared to things like BioShock 1's Andrew Ryan and Uncharted 1's Nathan Drake. Both games that were released the same year as Team Fortress 2.
Same year, huh? Whew. Feeling old.
And you're about to feel like a loser. Closing arguments. Team Fortress 2 may be a team-based shooter, but the individual players on the team have always been of the utmost importance, meaning that they can customize their appearance, they can customize their loadout, they can customize their gameplay. In Overwatch, if you're grouped up with a team who doesn't know what they're doing or who refuse to communicate, you may in fact lose through no fault of your own. Overwatch takes power away from the skilled players who in games like TF2 could rightfully carry a match. And that's just not fun. Considering all that in mind, most of all, vote for the original. The art style, the team-based gameplay design, the characters like Torbjorn and Tracer, who are very similar to the Engineer and the Scout, using comics and animated shorts to deliver characterization and lore in a very similar fashion to which TF2 used comics and their Meet the Team series years before. In so many ways, Team Fortress 2 stood on its own 9 years ago, and it stands on its own today, while Overwatch seems to have borrowed quite a bit from the successes of its predecessors. Oh, and also, TF2's free.
Sure, Overwatch may have borrowed from TF2, but it's not like it's hiding that fact. Overwatch is a love letter to all of gaming. Soldier 76 is straight out of Call of Duty. D.Va is Titanfall. Pharah is Metroid. To me, these sorts of references just make the game more fun. And now couple that humor with mechanics that actually reward you for smart team-based combat, matches where you must consistently jump across multiple characters and classes, and fixed teams where you're not going to be thrown onto the enemy side if someone suddenly decides to leave, and you have yourself a game that's accessible enough for beginners, but sophisticated dedicated enough to be competitive on the esports level. Plus, there's no ammo boxes, which to me is always a big perk. And best of all, the game is literally only 2 months old, meaning that it's only going to continue to refine itself and improve as the roster expands, play modes broaden, and maps begin to roll out. The biggest advantage Team Fortress had in this debate was the extra time that it's had to grow and evolve. But there's little doubt that it's now time for that torch to be passed. Overwatch is quite frankly the TF2 of the next generation of gaming, the very beginning of something incredibly special.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, we have reached Deadlock. Now the decision is in your hands. Which game deserves play of the game? Overwatch, the new kid on the block, or Team Fortress 2, the granddaddy of the genre? Click on one to choose or tell us what you think in the comments below. Or if you want to hear me cover some of the secret history behind Overwatch and some incredible facts about its characters, hop through Symmetra's portal right here to watch my episode of Did You Know Gaming. Tell them Matt Pat sent ya. Please though, please hop through that portal because no one over on the Did You Know Gaming channel likes my voice for some reason, so I'd love to have your support over there defending me from the haters. And finally, last time in a shocking twist debating the virtues of motion controls, 56% of you voted pro motion controls versus 44% for traditional controls in Zelda games. It's definitely a shocking conclusion. I did not see that one coming. Then again, I guess when you're debating against the president of Nintendo of America, well, you're gonna have yourself an uphill battle, so it's a fight I'm willing to lose.